Marvel Jezus might just have shown a new way forward for all of Marvel, and it looks glorious. This is my spoiler-free Deadpool and Wolverine review. Look at this. I was one of the many thousands of people that walked into theaters all over Belgium to watch the new Deadpool movie at about a minute past midnight. I think that is legal. Now, to give you a bit of context. I am not the most vetted Marvel fan. But I have been reading and watching the content for decades. Starting with the comics, then we had the 90s animated series, and yeah, all of the MCU movies. Well, I skipped Madame Web. But to be fair, that is not really a Marvel movie. That is Sony's problem.
Nothing I didn't already know.
So that doesn't count. And up till recently, the same could be said about all of the Deadpool movies. And the X-Men movies. They used to be owned by Fox, but then Disney took out a wad of money and bought the whole thing.
Who do you work for? DreamWorks?
Classic Disney. So this is the first Deadpool movie and kind of X-Men movie within the MCU. Made by Marvel, aka Disney. And it shows. I mean, I love the first two Deadpool movies, but I always kind of felt like they had the handbrake on. No matter how quippy and funny the movie got. There was always this moment where they hit the glass wall of licensing. It was inevitable. And to Ryan Reynolds and his team's credit, they made sure to point that out at every single occasion and use it to break the fourth wall and make it into something funny.
Whose balls did I have to fondle to get my very own movie? I can't tell you, but it does rhyme with pulverine.
They made that weakness into a strength. This time around, the focus is on the fact that that glass wall is gone. That the curse has been lifted. They had access to all of the MCU characters. The only restriction they had was, well, I guess budget and the Marvel Universe itself.
Stop it.
Look, personally, I'm not the type of creator to start doom farming. But even I can tell that that magic that captured us during those first phases, that it is kind of missing lately. And I'm going to exclude the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and the last two Thor movies out of that equation. Because those were amazing.
Come on, Drax. Seriously, dude?
In any case, Deadpool and Wolverine had to be a turning point. With a great catalog comes a great responsibility. And they did their freaking best. The Deadpool and Wolverine script answers about every commentary that we have had on the MCU. And not necessarily by offering solutions or doing things differently. Which not one single movie can do, of course. But mainly by recognizing all of the issues. It's almost as if they had downloaded all of Reddit and Twitter and did a Ctrl-S on the word Deadpool. And to be fair, the Deadpool movies are the perfect platform to do something like that. That franchise has made breaking the fourth wall into an art. And not only by taking a stab at their own previous movies, at their own cast, at their previous owner Fox, and even at Disney and Marvel. Quite often, actually.
It's a big house. It's funny that I only ever see two of you. It's almost like the studio couldn't afford another X-Men.
On top of that, they played into what we want to see. The one strength of the MCU that Kevin Feige seems to have forgotten. And that is their past. And I'm not talking about all the stuff in Phase 1 and beyond, but actually the stuff from before all of that, before Feige. The movie is riddled with cameos. There's fake out cameos, wishful cameos, and the best ones are the retro cameos. There's even one wishful cameo that almost made it into a retro cameo. And it's one of my all-time favorite characters in all of the Marvel Universe. When you see him, you'll understand. Mon ami. You know, I know it might sound cheap to bombard your audience with cameos, but it kind of works. Especially for the older fans that remember that era before the MCU. Those movies might not always have been marvelous. Yeah, sorry for the pun. But they were all we had. Some of those movies, and I'm not trying to name them to keep this spoiler free, were actually pretty good. Very good even. And they're going to be very difficult to reproduce for whoever is rebooting those franchises. Good luck. And you know what? Even for the younger fans, these cameos work. Marvel has some iconic characters. They need to use them. I mean, we don't need to see a full series or a full movie of every single subgroup or hero. But have them populate your world, your movies. In my opinion, that's why the Avenger movies work so well. You had all these crazy ass heroes coming together and making that world feel alive, real, magical. In these troubled times where we're basically living on the edge of disaster. We need to see a world with characters, some of which we only vaguely remember, kicking the ass of bad guys. We need it more than ever. But let's get back to Deadpool and Wolverine, because there's so much more to this movie, even if you do not care about the cameos. The action sequences, they're laid out like panels in a comic. None of this Michael Bay kind of bullshit. It's sequences that look like a dancing routine, where every single frame has a surprise or something to laugh at. And talking about laughs, Ryan Reynolds was born to play the role of Deadpool. Okay, I think we can all agree on that.
Cockshot! Oh, your poor wife.
So I won't surprise anybody, except maybe for a few critics, when I say that he nailed it again. The quips, the comebacks, the breaking of the fourth wall.
Fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls.
All delivered in this rather passive-aggressive tone that feels way too familiar. And then you have Hugh Jackman. He manages to cycle through all of the Wolverines that he has played throughout his whole career. Starting with the grumpy Logan in the first X-Men movies, to the old man Logan in, well, the Logan movie. Right at the end, we even get to see a Wolverine as we've never seen him before in any of the movies. It really is a goosebump moment. A goosebump moment that I used to have as a poster on my wall as a teenager, so yeah. That definitely hit home. But really, this spoiler-free thing is hard. I just want to share everything. Look, that three-way marriage between Deadpool, Wolverine, and the MCU, it was sculpted over a really long time, with a lot of care and respect for every single franchise or entity. Did you know that it took Ryan Reynolds 19 attempts to convince Kevin Feige of the way forward with the Deadpool movie? And I don't want to know how long or what exactly it took to convince Hugh Jackman to jump back into the role of Wolverine. But whatever it was, it definitely was worth it. In short, this is the best Deadpool movie they've made up till now. And that is saying a lot. And it is one of the best MCU movies so far. But more importantly, it shows that the MCU has a way forward out of this muddy mess that they're in right now.
He almost tasted that. Num, eat it up. Go play okay, 3, 2, 1.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we need this much sass in every single movie. That we need cameos up the wazoo in the next Captain America movie. Or that all of the future movies need to be action comedies with a soundtrack that brings back memories of your first school dance. But they need to find the creators that can make a new blend of all these ingredients and some extras that respect the roots of all these characters and that bring something new to the table. And the future is in those types of creators, like Ryan Reynolds and his team and Taika Waititi, or well, I was going to say James Gunn, but he's kind of preoccupied with Superman's tights right now, so. But there definitely are plenty of others out there. In any case, Deadpool and Wolverine is definitely worth the ticket money. Both for old and young fans. Just don't see it in 4DX. I don't know, man. Whoever invented that contraption, that torture device, needs to be kicked in the gonads. Repeatedly. That was the worst experience ever. But for now, however, that was it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. It always helps me out. And make sure to subscribe, because I'm going to be back with a new video next week. Until then, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye-bye.